Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are here with Star Trek Adventures Aegis, episode, I believe it is actually 12, A Lion in the Night. Very quickly, I need to address something for anyone who is coming in from the last recorded episode, and indeed for those that were watching the live stream, if you're joining us live today. There was a very abrupt cutoff at the end of that last episode. You may have noticed, and I decided to leave in comments about how there were a few technical issues during the stream. Essentially, my computer crashed very near the end, and that while I was able to recover it, and we did keep the stream going for a time, I realized it was going to become impractical to do so, and therefore offered an explanation. Unfortunately, some part of the audio recording did not recover, and so all of the conversation that happened for about the last half hour of that stream, maybe closer to 20 minutes, all of that was just unrecoverable. And so we had the abrupt cutoff as opposed to the explanation. So I'd like to say first, I apologize for that. I could not figure out what happened to the file, but subsequently, diagnostics have been run. I have done every other little thing I can think of to try and fix and prepare things, and we are just going to try to go ahead as smoothly as possible. We are also, for the smoothness of roleplay, we are going to back things up a little bit, where we will start essentially on the bridge from where we last left off. First, though, let us do just a quick recap. The Aegis has been out on patrol for a little while, and had largely been holding steady to that in the weeks after the incident with the Ithonite freighter and the Xyrillian holographic device that you discovered. Very recently, you had actually received new orders, however, from Starfleet. As further fruits of your efforts with the Tellarites, there have actually been some diplomatic transmissions between them. There's a firmer identification of what is considered Tellarite space and what is considered Earth-controlled space, and Command has identified a segment between the two that has been relatively unexplored. You might have had some long-range sensor scans. You know that there are no star systems or anything here, but there's always the potential for new and interesting things, or certainly other parts of space that you would want to understand. So they have sent you as the nearest ship to go out and explore that. It is convenient for your placing, but it is also most natural to the pathfinding mission that you are on. You have been out in deep space exploring this area, but for those directly working on the exploration part of this mission, you have encountered some very interesting and rather dicey circumstances. In particular, as you were passing through the region of space, you found that warp drive is not quite as effective in this region as it ought to be. Mr. Patel last time identified that there is a weird subspace current. Basically, a sort of, the best analogy would be a headwind if you were thinking of a sailing ship. It perpetually works against you or risks blowing you off course, thus limiting how fast you can go or causing it to where it's much less efficient to get up to proper speed. You were trying to compensate for that when you detected signs of a ship, albeit an inert one, possibly even a derelict. You go off to investigate this, and you did indeed find what appears to be a Tellarite freighter adrift in space, but still just barely functioning on some reserves, and at that close distance you found that there was even a distress call coming from the freighter. Mr. Crichton has told you that there was a distress call from the freighter. You decided to try and send help to the ship, dispatching a shuttle pod with an away team led by Lieutenant Commander Patel, including the ship's armory officer and Andorian military attaché, Lieutenant Shira, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lambeth, Chief Engineer Commander Aleska Romanov, Saral, and I believe Chief Justice, this time played by Panda. Anyway, away team made it over, and you had latched onto the top of the freighter, which was still pressurized. There was a hatch on the bottom section as well, the ventral side, but it seems as though there are radiation levels on the lower decks that would be a problem for you. So when last we left off, you had boarded the ship and you were starting to investigate the bridge. That is about where technical issues came up, so we are just going to start up with your entry. And
Point of order really quick.
yes.
The captain would also want to inform Tellarite Command of what we discovered and have the crew try to record in the best possible manner, just so there is no confusions that might crop up due to what we found.
Certainly, certainly. If you would like, while you guys are investigating the bridge, we can say between when the crew splits off and goes on to different decks, as I know was being discussed last time, we can have an update sent to the Aegis, and you can give those orders from the bridge, since
Sure.
Colonel Sharp is obviously still on the Aegis.
Yeah.
The bridge of the freighter, the Machda, is a veritable mess of blown out conduits, rocks sprinkled onto the floor, smashed computer consoles, you name it, like the standard sort of Star Trek ship is heavily damaged situation. You were indeed only able to enter this because Romanov was quick to think of the ship's manual release and was able to open the door. There are no signs of Tellarite life on board, or at least not in the bridge, and indeed no way to effectively scan them from this section. The six of you are just combing through different systems. You're trying to identify power taps or perhaps the means to plug into a device, but everything in here seems just badly shorted out. And I believe that the last sort of thoughts were checking out the main computer core and also possibly are going down to the ship's engines to see if things could be repaired or if more power could be brought on.
Now, I think that was a question that came up the last time, but I was wondering, since you could say that Thrall has a bit of experience with equipment exploding, is this has every console in here just self-destructed for whatever reason, or was this like an external destruction?
Give me an insight and engineering on this roll, and tell me, does Thrall have any particular focus resting on that particular set of experiences?
Troubleshooting?
You know, that applies.
What's the difficulty?
I'm going to say that with Thrall's experience in lab conditions, at least to identify that type of explosion, I'll reduce the difficulty to, let's call this 1, actually.
Remember, I had made a roll to look at it from an engineering point of view. Can that be because that happened when we were dark. We weren't recording.
Yeah.
Could I assist him or give him a lower target?
Yeah, I'll say that I will allow you to assist Romanov.
Okay.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm not saying that Thrall has like a personalized thermal generator, but he does.
Okay, 1 success from Thrall.
Shooting for some momentum, but we'll take what we get.
Well,
I rolled 1 die to assist, right?
That is correct.
Okay, 1 dice. And I don't think I have any applicable focuses.
I think reverse engineering was what we were allowing for last time. You had made a compelling argument back in the day, and I will accept.
Okay, so here comes the assist with a focus.
Well, unfortunately, there's nothing on the assist here. So, Raul, you can at least tell some of these consoles do seem to have experienced power spikes, which could suggest any number of things. Generally, they are induced by blowouts from the computer system because, as most ships in this era of starfaring rest on basically the power rests on superheated plasma being channeled through conduits in the system, and that heat supplies ample energy for all ships' functions. And at times when something disastrous happens, be it a reactor accident, a power spike from a weapons hit, something like that, it can cause overexcitement in the grid, and that can cause explosions. Even with safety protocols and power dampeners, it can create those instances. It's a little confusing given any of those possibilities, because the explosions don't seem quite as bad in the places where the consoles were blown out. Or like it would not suggest nearly as much of a high explosion as anything for consoles where that might have applied. However, there are also signs, and Romanov, I know from the last time you had already been picking up on this, some of these consoles look like they have been smashed up deliberately.
Yeah, and I'm going to share that with everyone. I believe some of these things have been smashed up deliberately, so we may have an oppositional opponent on board. I'm very worried.
Are there signs of weapons fire? Or have they been literally smashed up by falling rocks from the ceiling, which is inexplicably made of rocks in Star Trek? Or has someone literally just gone full ape on them?
I would say that while there is quite a bit of carbon scoring throughout here, it is inconclusive so far as the weighed against basically the fact that there seems to have been an accident, or there have been different allusions to that. The pattern doesn't suggest weapons fire, as near as you can tell. Although I guess that's not entirely Soral's specialty, but it seems relatively consistent. It's more likely these consoles were intentionally hit by some sort of blunt force, from the look of things.
I have kind of a stupid question, but I have in my notes that there was a transmission of some type. Did we ever have Crichton actually play the transmission?
So Crichton was listening in on the transmission. He did relay that to you.
Okay.
The rough version is basically that that Crichton relayed was that he was hearing that the ship, the Machda, was he was getting little bits of it, basically identifying the freighter, saying that reactor failing, request for help. Other than that, he was saying that there was a lot of unusual squeaking every time he tried to do that. It was causing him noticeable shuddering every time.
Okay, but nothing in the content of the message that would have said any details about why the ship was in distress?
Indeed, not. They only mentioned that, near as he could tell, the only bit he got was there was a reactor problem of some sort.
Do we have a timestamp on the message, a rough idea, or is there anything that would have given us an indication of how much time has passed since whatever happened here happened?
There wasn't anything that you had initially detected which would give you that. You might be able to pick up some insight from you might be able to roll for it, basically. Or even if you want to expend the momentum, or dare I say, give the GM the threat, you could obtain information that way.
Is there not a clock on the wall somewhere? It's probably smashed.
The clocks are smashed. Everything is broken.
It's a problem with digital clocks. If you smash them, they don't stay at the time they were smashed.
What kind of a roll would I be looking at for this? Like, or how would I go about finding the time like that? I think
So,
Patel's thought would have been, because I mean we already did like a scan of the atmosphere on board, and we know what, I presume we know what Tellarite standard is. It's probably the same as what we breathe.
yeah,
So
it is.
can I use like the difference in the atmosphere between now and then to somehow?
I think I would be more inclined to give you something like definitely an let's see here. Some sort of analysis of some sort of decay or well, let's see. Technically, you aren't working with any corpses, so I guess that doesn't quite work.
Are the air filters working?
The air filters are working. Life support does seem to still be functioning on some level. Though you did identify there is a leak somewhere in the ship as well, or at least on this deck, so it's steadily diminishing. It is worth noting everybody has an EV suit. Um, let's see.
So measuring some kind of decay.
Yeah. I think that I'll just give you a. I will give you a reason, and I'll allow for just a simple reason and science roll because I'm sure we could technobabble our way into you running some sort of scan that would help discern how long things have been there. Trek science is magic like that.
The only thing that I would need to know more about the magic is, can I use a xenobiology focus on that? Like, am I tracking something biological, like in the atmosphere?
That probably less so. I don't think
Okay.
that there's outside of like the odd bit of bacteria that is very resilient. You probably aren't seeing much of anything in this section. Um, but let's see. For 2 successes, because I don't think I'd gotten to a difficulty on that, I'll say that it looks as though this ship has probably been out here for at least a few weeks, possibly even longer than that. Um, or a little bit longer than that. Maybe not to the full month, but we'll say that based on from what you would know of what is supposed to be the crew complement of a freighter like this, um, and based on like like the atmospheric composition, uh, what you would presume to be that level of consumption, and even factoring in for the rather morbid calculation that not everybody were alive on this ship, you would guess this freighter's been out for at least 3 weeks, give or take, maybe 3 to 5 days.
Okay, it's quite a bit longer than I thought it would have been.
Yeah. Well,
fascinating.
You've also learned that given subspace properties in this realm, travel is difficult. Communication is also not ideal for a subspace radio.
Okay. Yeah, I think the focus still should be, number one, checking out the computer and see if we can get anything from that, like ship's logs or sensors, logs or whatever. And then the other team heading to engineering, I guess, to attempt to do the same.
Copy that. Any other in-character discussion you want to have right now? Does everybody... Go ahead.
Just a suggestion to Eula. Let's assume a possible hostile entity on here. Let's move in teams and be careful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think we had split, if I remember right, it was me and Saral and the doctor going to the computer core, and I think everybody else going to engineering.
Yeah, I think that's the split. So Shira, Romanov, and Justice, and Lambeth, Patel, Saral.
For some reason, I thought the teams were slightly different, or I thought that...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think Justice was with us because then Panda took over Justice because I didn't want to roleplay two people in the same scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So me, Saral, Justice, and then the rest.
Cool.
All right. So we go back to the point where we left off from back at the what became the end of last session, where the
Hello?
teams are beginning to split off and organize. So that was let's see. We might have lost somebody for a moment. Hopefully this does not portend the technical issues to come. So that was Patel, Saral, and Justice, and Romanov, Lambeth, and Shira. Just to make sure, do I have that right?
Yep.
Okay. And Panda is the one that we lost here. So I guess we will wait just a moment on the scene where with everyone coming back down to, or rather, the check-in with Aegis. We will hold off on that until the captain returns.
Yeah, while we're waiting, did I ever hear anything about this part of space? Like, shit's haunted, or pirates, or...
Give me an insight and, actually no, reason plus con.
Oh yes, con, my best stat.
The alternative would be command.
What focus can I sell you? Linguistics?
And I don't think that'll work.
Let's just give it to Will.
3 successes.
Oh wow.
Okay. Well, for that, I will give you a point of momentum. Partly because I'm a bad GM who has been out of practice with a week off with the technical glitches and no broken sword, and have been missing the difficulties. At this point, if I keep forgetting that, I'm just going to have to keep giving you all a point of momentum for every failure, and that will disabuse me of that behavior.
I'll try to bear with it.
Yes. Anyway, for our purposes here, and I apologize on the visual for moving things around. What's the rest of that thought here? Oh yeah, so it does occur to you there might have been some previous navigational records that generally avoid this section of space, or you are now beginning to recall that this place may have been avoided by a few groups just because it is not terribly easy to navigate, or the subspace conditions are actually a little less inclement, or rather they're a bit more inclement for warp navigation, given the chance for you to get off course. Honestly, it's not terribly well investigated because this is basically, think of it as like, from what you know, there are other locations where subspace conditions are not just friendly, they can even give you like relatively more efficient warp channel to travel. Like they're basically sort of channels or established routes where subspace conditions are easy to go to warp. So any mapping that you might have had access to in this sector of any detail, probably done by the High Command some years prior, or other species who took the very pragmatic approach of, here's the fastest way to get your ship from Vulcan to Tellar, or Tellar to Ithan Prime, or Ithan Prime to Earth. So why do you even need to really worry about this when you get even the slightest hint of resistance? That's the basic idea, Saral. But yeah, you do know there are places where subspace conditions would make even a Vulcan ship feel like it's barely able to get up to warp 2. There are conditions, there are places where you catch a subspace current at even a modestly fast ship, and I mean, you can get to Earth, from Earth to Kronos in 5 days that way.
Yeah, good thing that never comes up again. I mean, what?
Yes. No, but in essence, this is not a great place for warp travel. So this is probably a reason why. Granted, it's a very unlucky circumstance too, because they apparently they suffered some fate, possibly an accident that happened right where it's the worst place to do so. Most any ship is going to respond to a distress call and come and help someone, but usually, you can expect them to be off the just a little off the beaten path, not in a bramble like this. It's no wonder they'd be out for as long as they were. So, anyway, is there anything as far as that information goes that you would elect to share among the group, or just keep to yourself for now as you ponder?
No, it's what we figured so far.
Yeah.
It's just literally the middle of nowhere, and the roads are not maintained. It's why would you even go here? What are we doing here? That's the question I want to share.
Yeah. You are Starfleet, so of course you go out and explore. Or the rest of them are Starfleet. You are along for the ride.
Yes, completely voluntary.
Yes. Non-zero, nothing to do with the fact your ship would probably be impounded or has been threatened to be so on a few occasions.
Pencil pushers. The worst.
Yes. Anyway, very quickly, I just want to check. Panda, I know you were having some technical issues there a moment ago. Are you okay at the moment? And I will note, okay, it looks like you're unmuted now, but I'm not hearing you. Our captain may still be having some technical problems.
Captain has been abducted by Romulans.
Shira, the Aegis is not responding.
Oh well.
Yeah. And I guess, do you want to pass along any information to the Aegis? Creighton at least will be on the line to pick up if you want to do anything of the sort. Otherwise,
I think when we came over, the captain wanted us to have like an open line, if I remember right.
Yeah, quite possible.
So, yeah, I mean, just keeping apprised of the general situation, I guess.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Now, if memory serves, and we may have gone over this at multiple points already, but I just want to solidify it. We have the split in the away teams. Shiro, Romanov, and Lambeth, all three of you were going down to basically the nearest reactor deck, if memory serves. Like, you were trying to investigate the engine room.
That is correct.
Okay. And then Saral, Patel, and Justice, the idea was to head down to the next deck down to try to access the main computer.
Yep.
All right. Very good then. We can get people moved down, and let's see here. Guess just one more check. I want to see if the audio is working for you now, Panda. Are you coming through now, or can you hear us? Okay. We are
Still Romulans.
Yep. The
It can't be Romulans. We don't know what they are.
Exactly. We don't know what's happened to Panda. Ergo, must be Romulans.
the great
Hang on here. I just realized. Give me a second.
Oh,
Well, we possibly a mic issue. That would be a guess here.
Oh, let's head on down to engineering.
Well, we'll just go ahead and start that transition now, and we can kind of play it as we go on that scene. So the 6 of you walk down to the midship section. On the bow, or rather on the dorsal side, the top, if you were thinking of the ships on like a linear plane, above you there is a hatch not too far down. That is where your shuttle pod was docked and has been secured. You see that there was kind of actually a little walkway from that top hatch down to the or like onto the main level, and it seems that gangway basically is one of the ways to go up and down the ship. The way below you is at least open to the next deck, and I think from your sight, although lights are low, you can make out that the next couple decks from where you are open. So both teams should be able to embark without any impediment in their path. You've divided into the 3 teams, and I guess each of you taking a side begin walking down the gangways.
Hello?
Hey, Panda, we're getting you now.
Okay. It was a mic problem, apparently. I had a field test and done a bunch of things. But I'm back.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Before the crew makes it down, did you want to run any sort of check-in with Sharp here, or?
Yep. She'll say, Aegis to way team.
Tell here.
Give me the details, Commander.
I give the details.
All right. I'll inform Tellarite Prime. Could you make sure to back up? Take all the scans you can and back up all the data, so we can send it. Make sure there's no gaps. We want to, given the situation, make sure that it's doesn't look like us.
Affirmative, Captain. We're heading down into 2 different teams. One of us is going to check out the computer core and see if we can salvage any data from the ship's databanks, and the other heading to engineering to maybe hopefully shed some more light on the situation. But whenever we get something new, I'll send it over to Mr. Crichton.
Given the level of damage you've already expressed, could this possibly have drifted from the current we found? This could be just driftwood, as it were.
So out of character question, the subspace current is only affecting subspace, not real space, I assume. Or is the ship actually, like, are there actually like ebb and flow in space happening right now?
I would say in terms of the current, it only affects, or this would only be affecting subspace. So any ship that was traveling at warp, to a lesser extent, impulse would be affected by the subspace turbulence. While this area of space is relatively desolate, there are some other phenomena you have observed, in particular sort of concentrations of gaseous clouds, mostly hydrogen, a few other things like that. Nothing that's concentrated enough to, say, form a nebula, but enough that kind of it could always be blocking other anomalies or like creating a bit of a screen. Which your sensors were at least identified, but I think that you had a difficult roll earlier, rather at the start of the session when we were trying to map this.
Okay, but when we came in, the ship didn't have any specific momentum to it that Chief Justice would have noticed when he docked.
Only that it was in a counterclockwise spin.
Okay.
A very slow one.
Yeah, I think Patel would just sort of run the numbers in his head on the density of space in this area and the fact that this thing's been drifting for 3 weeks or sitting here for 3 weeks, and probably come to the conclusion that it didn't have enough time to like slow down to a bare stop from like speed. So no, Captain, I think my assessment is that the ship was most likely disabled in a relatively stationary position.
Fair enough. Give me a prize in 15 minutes.
Affirmative.
ET's out.
All right. Just for a quick scene on the bridge, and I'm going to make sure first that appropriate tokens are on and off the screen. Well, I'll go ahead and transfer you over, but the visual will be slightly delayed for stream.
I mean, what about, Kieran's twin brother, Deeren?
We all know that he's not serving on this ship. He's opposed to Starfleet because it's drifting in too much of a militaristic direction, and I don't know.
Yep, I like that.
Whole other like bits of current and issues. And,
oh, the Patel family reunion is going to be a great B plot one day.
yes. Patel's the whole of Patel's extended family.
This is my brother Deeren. This is my cousin Liren. This is my other cousin
Ed Sheeran.
And Sheeran.
The musical performances will be spectacular. Anyway, back on the bridge of the Aegis. The conversation cuts out as they start their exploration. There's of course an open line maintained to the ship.
Kieran, or not Kieran, out of character. That's me. It's me just getting stuck on the Kierans. Crichton, if you can relay or send our log and our sensor data to Tellar Prime, inform them of what's going on, as well as Starfleet Command.
Aye, sir. I will commence broadcast right away, sir.
What is the delay time currently?
Ordinarily, I would say with subspace communications, now that we have a better sense of transmission lines along 61 Cygni, I would say approximately 2.1 hours. However, subspace conditions here, I couldn't say exactly how that's going to affect it, sir.
Fair enough.
I will do my best, however, sir.
She nods.
All right. I'm spending a point of threat to increase the complication range in this roll, so Crichton can go ahead and make, I think that with subspace conditions, this is going to be a difficulty 2 roll, and the ship may assist with communications and, let's call this science here. If somebody would care to grab the ship. Ooh, nicely done, Crichton. I can roll the ship.
No, I'll roll it. What was it?
Let's see. Well, let's see. That would be communications and science, I believe, and that would be at a complication range of 2. Well, no success there, but Crichton says, I believe I've gotten the transmission out, sir. I pumped in a little extra power and tried to bounce it actually back off from one of our relays on the other end of space, but I'm rather optimistic, actually, sir.
Good work, Crane. Ensign Steward, is there any signs or signals or warp trails for this ship?
Not that I can pick up. I'm looking over our active sensor feeds and trying to work it out with what Commander Patel had picked up earlier, and there's just not a whole lot. I guess they've been here a while, sir.
All right, let's send a few probes to create a perimeter to extend our range of sensors. This to be a good early warning system.
Oh, okay. She'll start relaying orders or sending word to Crichton to relay orders. The warp probe is also, it still seems like it's drifting a little bit. You know, the experimental one we picked up last time and remembered we had specifically for this task.
I do remember.
The
yes.
mini friendship one.
How's the its journey? The current moment.
Still sustaining. Well, the GM's trying to remember exactly what we did the last time, but it does seem to be.
We basically let it go into the current and see while still maintaining a warp or subspace field to basically just go along with the current and see where it goes.
Right. In that case, it seems to be on a. It appears to be on another course deviation. This one, oh dear, about 20 degrees on z minus 20 degrees on its original course, and now to starboard 5 degrees. I guess a slight correction. There have been some reports of bits of shearing apparently from the sensors. It sounds almost as if it's entering a rapid of some kind.
What speed of warp it has the current pushed into?
It's barely sustaining warp 1.
So not that terribly fast, but enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, sure. Let's say that. Sorry,
I know this is in your field, Stuart, but you're doing well enough.
Thank you, Captain. Oh.
That's it for me, out of character. I
Okay.
got nothing else really.
Yep. So
just keeping a tight eye on our surroundings while making sure we do not get any fallback for helping out, as it were.
Indeed. Okay. So let us then go down and follow the first the Deck 2 contingent, led by Mr. Patel, including Chief Justice and Saral. You find your way down to the you find your way down to the ship's basically Deck 2. It is a bit less well illuminated. Suggesting power issues here are also bad, and some of the emergency lighting is not quite as active here, so it's definitely a bit difficult to get your bearings, although the suit's built-in flashlights definitely help. All of your faces are illuminated by the interior light as well. I imagine this is trickiest for Chief Justice, who inside the suit still has his trademark aviators on.
Oh yeah. He mends it in a very awesome manner. Like as if, as if the suit was like meant to fit those glasses inside it.
Yeah. The trick, I'm sure, is that either he's just really good at that, he has extreme light sensitivity, or the interior of the shades secretly polarized to allow more or less light through. He's got transition lenses, but only appearing on the inside. The outside, it's like one-way glass, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like to think he has like a Terminator heads-up display in his glasses.
Yeah, assessing how cool everything is and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. What does the scanner say about his awesome level? Perfection. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to give you that, Sabral, your knowledge of these ships, combined with what intel you had from the last time you had boarded a freighter like this, would suggest the main computer core is near the bow of the ship beneath where the bridge had been. So that's something that I would say you have available to you. If you guys wish to investigate other things, then you may also do so. But what would be your focus here?
I think probably just getting to the computer core, because it seems like the picture that I have in my mind is that the place is fairly like desolate and empty, and there's no bodies anywhere or anything like that. So,
indeed,
just keeping like Patel's walking around or walking along with his hand scanner up and scanning things sort of passively, as you do.
I'll give you the chance to do one more reason on science roll. We'll call this. Let's see. For deck 2, that should still be difficulty. The radiation isn't bad enough up here, so difficulty 1 on this. Okay, that is 2 successes, which will earn you a another momentum. Brian, if you want to go ahead and draw that, then you are welcome to it.
Okay.
Patel, you are detecting no signs of life forms on this deck. At least nothing sapient or sentient, nothing of that level of complexity. You are detecting very mild bio readings in some of the compartments towards the aft section here.
Mild in the sense of like a small creature, or?
It would suggest some sort of small amount of biological matter of some sort.
As you're scanning, GF just kind of looks around. The second ship of this class to be ruined like this, it certainly doesn't make me want to hop on board on another one of these.
They don't have a great track record, do they? Sorrel, you knew a few of these ships, you said. Do they have a reputation? He says with a bit of a smile. Cursed design.
Well, that's purely statistics. If this is one of the main ships of the fleet, the vast majority of derelicts and accidents you will see with this design. So there's no superstition I can indulge at this point.
Do Vulcans even have superstitions?
I could tell you stories.
I mean, quiet ship. We got time.
And we also have work to do, I think.
Multitasking.
Well, how about we multitask by finding the computer core first and see if it is also banged up, destroyed, overloaded? I'm still not entirely sure what happened here.
I agree. Ghost story time, while interesting, Chief, can maybe wait until we're back on the ship.
Fair enough.
I'm picking up some sort of biological readings. I can tell it's nothing. It's nothing alive, but it's definitely biological matter of some point, of some type, coming from the aft on this deck.
Like what?
The scanner can't be very precise. All I can really tell is that it's not humanoid.
It could be something like not even full, or not even like a full creature size thing. It's more like there could be some sort of interesting microbial signature.
Okay. It's not like that's where the fridge is and there's a bunch of steak or something in there, right? Like it's not that type of
The steak might be alive by now.
I mean, it's a distinct possibility. The rebellion of the sentient steak.
It's a bunch of mold. It's been 3 weeks. Somebody left a bowl of fruit out.
No, it's still good. It's just marbling.
Dry aged.
Fermented.
I would chalk that up as a curiosity that we can investigate after the computer core.
How's the damage in the rest of the ship? Or is it just empty?
What little you have been able to identify from the internal scans, Saral, and you would have gotten some of this probably in a briefing on the way there. You also would have heard a little bit whilst in the shuttle pod. The ship is under extremely low power, probably working off of its reserves. The hull seems to have experienced numerous bits of like pockmarked damage of some sort. There are signs that there were probably bigger holes that have been patched up. So there isn't like any, say, significant leakage or breaching of the hull or anything like that. The lowest 2 decks of the ship, for perspective, there are about 5 decks on the ship. The lower 2 appear to have relatively dangerous levels of radiation.
Even for the suits?
The suits can withstand it, but living tissue would probably have more significant issues against that, or it would require much more significant help. Medical aid, basically. You don't want to be stuck here. Anyone who is stuck here for 3 weeks and was particularly stuck down on the lower decks, they're probably they would be in very bad shape, if not doomed, basically.
How many people are normally crewed for this kind of cargo ship?
I don't think that would take a momentum to obtain information. Pretty much the standard crew for freighters is the half dozen to a dozen officers and officers and crew, or maybe even less. Well, no, probably like just barely under a dozen, or maybe about there.
Right.
These aren't treasure galleons.
No.
Anyway, let us keep you moving as you start walking up. You pass a corner, and I'll just give you, though sparsely illuminated. Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
That's the exact opposite.
Yes, it is the exact opposite.
A
Patel just
bottomless
walks
pit
into the
appears.
void. Yep. There we go. You can see down in either direction, basically signs of corridor that stretch either way. These segments down here, it's very much a similar story, just like burned out bits of conduit, but it does seem to have been at least somewhat cleaned up. A few wall-mounted computers that have been smashed up in different places, and yeah, just general sense of damage throughout the ship.
On the entire ship we've seen so far, has there been a single computer/computer screen that hasn't been exploded or smashed up?
Not as far as you can tell.
I don't like that. I don't know why, but I don't like that.
I didn't think you would.
Fantastic.
Yep. Okay, you guys want to keep moving up?
I just had one more quick question that I think we established last time, or maybe. Did we check if all of the escape pods were in place?
They are.
Okay, yeah. Thought so.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's nothing else that I want to check then.
Okay. So, yeah, the three of you keep walking forward. And I will let you guys move your tokens on this one. Panda, Felix, are you going to leave Patel hanging there?
He's just walking along,
Yes.
looking at his tricorder and not paying attention to anything else.
I would definitely scan a little bit to the right, scan a little bit to the left, just to make sure we're not missing anything. Then continue moving up as well.
Okay. Do you want to make a proper sensor check here, just to
And
say
I'm happy to.
Okay, yeah. Because if you want to do that, I will give you a reason and science roll. I will just ask if you are looking for anything specific.
Anything out of what we wouldn't expect at this point, like anything that's still powered up, even though it shouldn't. Any biological signs or life signs that shouldn't. An area that's maybe shielded from scanning, radiation that has no business being at this particular place, or something that's just seems odd.
All right, that will be a difficulty 1 reason and science roll.
Diagnostics?
I'll allow for that.
Fantastic.
Okay, that is 2 successes with a 1 more roll going to momentum. So Romanov, go ahead and draw that. The story across the ship does very much appear to be pretty much the same, suggesting minimal power and barely functioning EPS systems, such that there isn't damage. The computer section itself that you're scanning ahead just barely indicates there might be any sort of power in that room whatsoever. Enough, perhaps, for your purposes to access something, but it's... hold on. My apologies, I had a sneezing fit there. Yeah, your readings are suggesting that there isn't anything out of the ordinary in terms, or anything inconsistent with what you've detected already. Just more smashed consoles, more minor damage throughout the ship. It's a very weird, very disconcerting sense, I'm sure.
Can I make a roll if I have a bad feeling about all of this?
Bad feelings are for free.
I was afraid you would say that.
Yep.
Well, there's nothing out of the ordinary. Let's head on.
Yep. So you approach the door. It is shut, and once again, there is there's a smashed panel to access the door. So the computer way isn't going to take you in.
Well, then we're going for the manual override. We now know where it is.
Yep. Pop it open, Saral. If you would like to make a roll, you may. I'll just call it.
Has that one been used before as the one to the bridge?
I think that yes, there would be signs that has also been popped out at a certain point and not completely replaced.
Let me have out with that.
I would also point it out. It's like, so whatever happened here, someone survived. At least for a time.
Could also have been that we are not the first visitors to the ship. And that all this was done by them for some reason.
I don't know. He looks around. I know shuttles because I am a chief of justice. Could I I would know how to if I wanted to really ransack a place, go for easy to sell stuff.
Copper lines are still in.
Yeah. Would it is anything more immediate around that somebody could easily grab, snatch? That somebody would basically pilfer if it was salvage rights, or otherwise.
I mean, more of that is probably going to be in the cargo sections that occurs to you. There might be some useful material in the ship's computer itself, but you're not seeing signs of consistent with what Soral's saying. Any sort of scrap that you would pull from a ship doesn't seem to have been removed. Indeed, such that things are a bit cleaned up, or where there may have been signs of an initial accident of some sort. You are seeing signs that people very much left those things in place. Potentially the crew trying to repair their own ship and make sure that things didn't go bad or get worse.
Yeah, sorry, Commander, but I'm looking around. There's a lot of things that a salvager would probably grab, if anything. Even somebody passing by and thought this was a dead ship. Nothing. I mean, we could probably check the cargo hold or the computer room, but I mean, even just things you can pluck on the way, I seems more like Soral says.
Also,
Just-
geographically speaking, we're literally in the middle of nowhere. That two ships would stumble upon this wreck in the span of weeks, months, is astronomical.
Why do I get the feeling somebody wants this ship to be forgotten? Everything's destroyed, it's stranded in the middle of nowhere, the high seas of space, for the most part. No crew, all escape pods in place.
Well, why not just destroy it?
Maybe they couldn't.
I mean, it's not hard to destroy a ship.
Maybe they didn't have the time. I mean, there is 2 decks irradiated right now.
Is there anything particular in those irradiated decks that I would know of? And where's the radiation coming from? Secondary question.
I think at this point I will ask for a point of momentum to ask those questions.
Yeah, if everyone's fine with that.
Yeah, fine with me.
Sure.
Just because I literally just started thinking about that as Soral does.
Yes. So, what you very generally recall about this class of freighter, the lowest deck, Deck 5, would be more of a utility section with supplemental engineering elements in the aft. Deck 4 is also very much mechanically oriented and has the main engineering section once again near the aft. The engine stack is it's all kind of decks 3 through 5, with deck 3 being mostly concentrated on the fusion reactors, the impulse drive, and all that, though there's some degree of connection between them. If you had to guess, if there was, particularly with the context of the reactor damage they supposedly suffered, it is most likely that radiation is leaking from the engines.
Which, add a character, might mean more of a slow death than anything else. Because that sounds like containment is very, very slowly coming undone. Very slowly.
Yeah, but again, there's a tremendous amount of power in the ship's systems and weapons and everything. destroying it isn't really that difficult. Doesn't even take that long if you have access to the systems. And I'm wondering, and I keep wondering, why every computer terminal we've come across is destroyed. Even an overlaid DBS system wouldn't blow out every single system.
Well, practical reasons for wanting to destroy the computer are removing evidence of something.
Access to it. He looks pointedly at the door to the computer core, which we're trying to access.
And both of us look over at Chief Justice, who is standing next to the manual release.
Huh? Oh, right. Let me go.
I mean, also, this is maybe a stupid question. Can I check for traps? Or is there like is the door like sealed or something? Like someone tried to block it or anything?
Well, first let me ask, Chief, are you did you want to roll for that, or would you just like to? We can just narratively say you've seen how this is done. You're a shuttle jockey. You could take care of this easily.
I'm a shuttle jockey, and I'm I'm Chief William D. Justice. I know how to do this.
I'll give it to you for free then. As you speculate onto that, Chief Justice.
I think there should be no momentum spend on that because he is Chief Justice.
Indeed, there's no need to. You get it for free, and yeah, Chief Justice just pops open the door and it like just separates open just enough for you to be able to get through, and you see the interior of the main computer control.
You know, my grandpa or great grandpa was really into like ancient computer games, and one of them was like all this thing about this kind of reminds me of one of those games, something about like a shock to the systems. I don't remember the full name. Certainly bring back memories though.
Oh, glad you're having fun. And yes, so so the door doesn't open completely?
The door doesn't open completely, but it is enough that you can transit down.
If I don't see anything that would stop me from doing so, I would then just like peek inside and then just squeeze through.
Patel would as well.
Okay. You effortlessly squeeze on through the. You effortlessly squeeze on through the doors. There are computer consoles in this room, which, surprise, surprise, have been broken. It seems as though, well, you can make out there is like the main computer core just ahead of you. Though it too appears to have sustained a little bit of damage. I'll ask one of you to give me an insight and engineering roll.
Yeah.
That's not in the scene, right?
You are not
Come
in the
again?
scene. This is still, this is still up in that deck. We are going to, after we resolve the bit with the computer, I would like to give it to you guys, though. So.
Yeah. Diagnostics again? Troubleshooting? Computers?
I think any of those would apply.
Fantastic. Triple focus it is. What's the difficulty?
The difficulty on this task is also going to be... I've completely lost my mind. Difficulty is 2. That's what it is. Sorry, I had to go back to
Difficulty
my notes.
2. You know what? I would like to grab a momentum for a third die.
Mm-hmm. Also, where did everybody go? Your tokens, I don't see them on the screen.
They move back down.
Why?
We open the door and it blasts.
Just don't worry. When the computer core explodes, we're gone anyway.
Let's get you guys back up here. You're in the room.
What in the name of our Lord and Father Khan?
Oh. By the elements and those that flew under the raptor's wing, what is the meaning of this?
You know what? I'm taking a narrative. This is just cursed for entirely dice related reasons, so I'm running with it.
Yep. Okay, so narrative complication and a single success. Let's see. Saral, you begin inspecting the room. It seems as though the computer core has sustained some damage. There are at least signs of carbon scoring, but you're having trouble making out much else. I'm going to say that the helmet is actually like there's just a weird bit of glare that you're having trouble compensating for. Or like the lighting in here is virtually non-existent. The emergency lights, if they had any in this room and if they were active, have since given out. So you only have suit light to go off of. But there are signs basically of some sort of computer damage here. And I'm going to rule as part of the complication as you try to look around for some sort of access port or something of the sort. Anything like that appears to be just utterly damaged or broken in ways as to suggest like a complete inability to interface. There's no Wi-Fi in this room, and there's no way to plug in an Ethernet cord or anything of the sort. Your USBs won't save you now.
Well, time to rip the hard drives out.
Yep. Patel, as you go towards the center core and taking you at your word on that, starting to look for some of those, you find some panels in the central core are already open, and that some things have been pulled. And I'm going to ask you to give me one more. This one's going to be an insight and security roll.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty on this is also going to be 2.
I will definitely spend a momentum.
Okay.
So I think we're down to 2 momentum now from 4, right?
Yeah. Brian, if you could actually drop 2 of those there from the pool. So we'd spent one for a question, and we are spending one now for a dice roll. 3 successes, so you only need to drop 1, Brian. You notice, Patel, as you are trying to remove computer drives, that not only has somebody beaten you to the punch, you notice what seem to be markings. Not anything that was left, like no sort of scrawl or anything like that, but rather an imprint, as if blades had been run across and just completely rended this bit of equipment.
Like, does it look like the blades were slicing into, for lack of a better word, the hard drives, or were they like trying to, like, is the damage from them trying to pry them out, or is this like unrelated to that?
This is like something that pried open the shell around the computer core, so not just a slice, but almost a grip in some areas.
Well, the implication of that definitely sends chills up Patel's spine.
Yep. And as you ponder that possibility, we're going to go back down to deck 3, where Doctor, along with Lieutenant Commander Romanov and Lieutenant Shira, the 3 of you have come down the walkway, and when you come down the ladder, you notice that the next gangway to deck 4 has been sealed off. It appears as though essentially a bulkhead system is kicked on so as to prevent access to the deck below, probably also to keep radiation out. This is very likely something Romanov would have picked up on.
Yeah, she'd be watching out for that.
So, the 3 of you have arrived down on the lower deck. This is happening roughly simultaneously to the conversations and work upstairs. So, first thing you get down, is there anything you would want to do? Any sort of scans, or do you just want to start giving orders and setting to your task?
I want to start surveying everything first, see if I can find out how things failed in here.
Okay.
I need a little bit of forensics first.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will allow for scans. That would be reason, and I will allow for reason and engineering, or for use of reason and science. I think. So let me check this out. For both of them on this level, the difficulty is going to top out at 3. Lambeth, I would actually be prepared to allow you medicine too, if you prefer.
I
Yeah,
want
medicine
to,
and what?
I-
Sorry,
Reason.
I want. Oh,
reason.
Yep.
I was going to suggest medicine first because I'd like to know where the people were and what kind of biologics were moving around this area.
Yep. So all 3 of you may conduct scans as you wish.
Okay, and my scans are
Reason and engineering.
Reason and engineering. And can I apply reverse engineering?
I kind of actually don't think that works as well here.
Okay. I'd like to spend a momentum if that's okay with everybody.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. There we go.
3
Very
successes. All right, so Romanov, with your 3 successes, you are seeing a lot of the same story, but still, it feels like you are missing crucial parts with regard to this. Continued signs that there were EPS spikes of a sort of minor variety, again falling within the range of the reactor trouble that they seem to be having, though the reasons behind it remain difficult to say. Furthermore, any computer display that you can pick up within range here doesn't really, like, it all seems to have been broken by some means. Some might have been blown out initially, others are showing that same sign of being physically wrecked. There is also a sign of more power on this deck, rather the reactor section, which you would remember both from the whisper I sent you there, but it's basically there are fusion reactors on this deck. There are signs of some mild radiation signatures in the back as well. Nothing that would prevent, nothing that your EPS, or rather that your suits, the environmental suits, couldn't handle. However, it could pose a modest danger, or it's something that would require treatment without them.
Did you send me a private message?
Yeah, I'd sent you a whisper in Roll20. It's probably
okay. I was looking in Discord. Okay.
I'll resend it via Discord as well. But likewise, I'm going to...
Okay, now I would like the doctor to look at one of the intentionally smashed up areas and see if he can detect anything like DNA or even a silicon version of it.
Yeah. Okay.
A silicon...
Well, meaning
I
look
never
for...
look at that. I guess.
What I'm hoping is the thing that wrecked one of these areas left a little DNA or its equivalent. So the doc would be the best person to find that. I'll find him the best smashed up one, an area that I know was definitely not done by EPS and all that kind of stuff, the intentionally broken areas.
Let's see. I think I see what you are getting at here. And Lambeth, as you are receiving that query, your scanner is picking up something that just barely, you can't completely verify it, but there is indeed something that you are picking up with your reading before you are able to turn to that.
Hang on a sec, Romanov. I'm getting a possible bias
Is it
sign
moving?
towards the forward section. Don't think so.
So it's not moving. How far away from it is
Not
us?
fast, anyway.
How far is it located from us?
I don't know, forward section of the deck.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing
probably
it's behind
beyond
that door.
the door. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Should we go investigate that first?
Let's see if we can.
I mean, there's plenty of Smash consoles around here. They can wait.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we can go ahead. Although the Smash consoles might give us an idea of what we're dealing with, but whatever it is, it's probably something we haven't seen. Okay, sure, I agree. I'm in. Let's go ahead and head forward.
Okay.
Yeah, Shira, I trust you'll take point in case there's anything else
Absolutely.
around here.
She's got her phase pistol out.
Thank you very much.
All right. You begin your crawl forward on the deck. Let's see, coming up to the first intersection, and once again I'll say people may move their own tokens at their discretion. Let's see.
I'm moving now. Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay.
I'll move up by and wherever it is, we'd like Dr. Lambert make sure he's behind us.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll give.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure my phaser is in my hand.
Okay. So both Shira and Romanov have their.
I'll
phase
keep
pistols
my
up.
scanner focused on the biosign reading.
Yep.
Can you let us know if we get any movements or if you can get a better scan?
Will do. I assume there's no movements at the moment.
There are no signs of movement up ahead right now. Though I will grant you, the biosign reading is very difficult to work out here. Let's see. So you continue to move forward?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So steadily with
Up to the door.
Yep, with Shira Shira at the lead, I'm sure, and Romanov also following along. Both of you phase pistols in an alert carry position. You make your way through the darkened hull. The occasional intermittent flash of your emergency lights, or like your suit lights, and the flashing of the emergency lighting here, giving you just the sparsest insight as to the deck ahead. Everything seems relatively intact. I'll go ahead for our purposes. I'll just give you a move up here. Oh, there we go. Sorry, it's not registering right away when you guys move it, so.
Okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
Peek around the corner here.
Yeah, peeking. I'll take left peek. She'll take right peek.
Yep.
Peeky right.
Peeky left.
The corridors seem empty either way that you look.
Okay. Well, that's.
I'll go ahead and move ahead.
Yep. There's a door directly ahead of you, and same affair as the previous deck, at least the bridge. Really, same story to the computer core, although you would not know it. That a deck, or a bit of like wall plating, slightly askance from where the manual release would be located. A smashed up door, or rather door control. This is an easy enough task, Romanov, that if you elect to open it up, then you.
Oh no, I'm waiting for Shira to move up, and I'd like Lambert to see if he can get a more detailed scan now that we're closer, and make sure there's atmosphere on the other side. So hit our target and just make sure we've got atmosphere. I'll check the door and see if it's telling me there's atmosphere on the other side.
There's not a secret door in the wall, is there?
There do seem to be signs of like other compartment type things, but there's no intended secret door.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say, Lambeth, your tricorder reading isn't giving you signs of anything more than the intermittent signature that you're picking up. Maybe now a very slight bit of radiation, but nothing that suggests movement or anything of the sort. And
getting a
you are
slight radiation spike. Still no signs of movement. Be warned.
Got it. Anything in range we need to worry about, or we good on this?
Nothing I can see.
Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll look over at Shira and I'll open the door.
Okay, so as you start pumping it, the manual release, I'm going to make your tokens a little bigger. I think it could stand to.
Yeah. Maybe now isn't the time to start pumping it.
Let's see.
No, pump it hard, Romanov. Pump it hard.
Anyway, as Entendre begins to take off, you hear a rustling from the plating, or from a bit of the hull plating just on the to the right of Shira, or near the starboard section.
I hear there's a bit of what?
The wall, there's a bit of conduit or wall plating, something that is rustling slightly over there.
I'll take a look.
Okay. Well, you're presently busy with the
door. Okay, yeah. So she has that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought maybe it was on my side. Sorry.
No. It's on the.
Do I hear the rustling?
You
then?
all of you can make it out. It is loud enough for all of you to pick up.
I will look at the wall panel where it appears to be coming from.
Okay.
Just phase pistol at the ready.
Okay.
Is this like a rustling? Is it an electrical kind of rustling, or is this more, I don't know, very scaly kind of thing?
Nothing scaly about this, I can assure you. Just it does, however, suggest that something kind of knocked against the deck plate, or the wall segment here, and it does appear to be loose.
I will carefully move it and just peek in.
Okay. Insight and security, please. Difficulty 1.
Security. Insight, security. Difficulty 1. Let's see. I don't suppose survival would count as a focus in this instant.
I will allow it.
Okie dokie. Since it's a security roll, you know what? Let's give you a point of threat and get an extra dice.
Very good. Okay, that is 2 successes, which will give you 1 momentum and the GM 1 threat. You catch the glint of something metallic as something starts to surge forward. You are quick enough on your feet to move back as the slightly squat, sort of porcine figure of life form gets up and starts swinging what appears to be a pipe. Oh! Get away! Get back! And this rather squat individual has slid out, has just thrown himself against the plate to throw it open, and is just waving some pipe at you.
What? Calm down, calm down. We've just picked up your distress signal.
Oh, what? Hey, who are you? What? Stay back!
It might not like it from me, but we're with Earth Starfleet.
I'm a doctor. I can help you.
He closes his eyes very tightly, just gesturing with the pipe, emphasizing each word.
I'll take a few
No,
steps back.
what are you ah! You. What are Earth doing out here?
Just exploring. It's what humans tend to do. And then we came upon your distress signal.
Maybe too late. I don't know if any of them made it to the back. We need to go. We need to get off this ship. You need to get me off now.
Why? What's happened here?
You can't speak so quietly. They might hear.
Hey.
Sorry, we can't speak quietly. They might hear.
Do you know what I meant?
It's okay. It's okay. Calm down.
Yep.
Calm down.
Yep. Shira, the man. Or rather, continue what you were going to say.
Oh, we have a shuttle. We can get you out of here, but just calm down.
We need to go now. He immediately starts he makes a run directly in your direction. He's going to bump in. Okay, you grab hold of him. Lambeth, he's conceivably within reach of you two. Do you also make a run, or do you want to try to handle him in any way?
Yeah, I think I'm going to trust in Shira and take a step back.
Okay.
And probably look around in my pockets for sedatives and stuff.
Okay, Shira, I'm going to ask you to give me a daring and security roll. This will be against his fitness and security.
Okay. Does my hand-to-hand combat count as a focus?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, I'll make it a daring roll because this is basically a grapple to stop him.
Okay. I'll give you another point of threat for extra dice.
Very good.
Ooh!
Nicely done. That is 6 successes on that roll. 3 crits. Jeez. Well, let's see.
A 1, a 1, and a 2.
Yeah.
Yep. And that you are getting all of that back in momentum because this Tellarite is he has no security. So
oh no.
I will happily take my my 1 point of threat from the bold, and then you can draw 4 points of momentum and have 2 to float.
You vaporize him.
You take him politely by the arm, lift him, his feet scurry. It's like, I want to go to the shuttle pod. Let me go to the shuttle pod.
Calm down, okay?
How can you be calm when they are here? Romanov,
who's they?
The
what
manual,
happened?
Romanov, the manual release pumps through. And now please give me a daring and security of your own.
Okay.
Well, I was about to say, while this was happening, I'm going to stop the release process because they're dealing with somebody. So.
Oh, are you now?
Well,
I think it's funnier if you don't.
Okay.
Or more interesting if you don't.
Okay, open it. Done.
Yep. Okay. GM will just. I guess
Just
one
remember,
of those points of threats that I dropped will go to a D20 here. So, yeah, Romanov, daring and security, please.
Okay, daring and security. Can I apply my focus of Vulcan martial arts?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Unfortunately, tie goes to the one with the initiative.
Okay.
Romanov, your bit of as you glance from your work away to this, you find yourself rapidly face to face with a pair of yellow slitted eyes. Your training tells you that you don't have enough time to fully dodge or counter, but you might at least be able to shift the momentum and roll away if you are lucky. But you are not fully prepared for what is the absolute pounce and prowl as this thing makes contact with you.
Okay, then I'm going to roll then. That's going to be my thing. Take the momentum and roll it.
Well, first there's going to be some damage from an unarmed strike here. So let's see how that goes. That'll be 2. Wait, oh, there's supposed. Yeah, knockdowns there. Okay, you are actually presently knocked prone, and you are taking 3 points of stress from that last blow. As you find yourself being pinned down by a figure which Lambeth, Shira, the two of you, even with the bit of distraction here, you note that there's now at least one figure that has knocked back Romanov and is presently engaging her in melee. What appears to be something
I took 2
felinoid.
damage, right? I took 2 damage, right?
3 damage.
3 damage.
Yep.
Okay. Almost a wound.
So yeah, and as if that isn't bad, well, actually no. Yeah, so you see Romanov is now pinned in very close combat with a figure seeming to be like completely darkened, or like the between whatever they are wearing, the texturing of the of what might be exposed flesh or perhaps fur. You can only make out the vague point of hair and ears as this thing is just starting to pummel and grapple with Romanov at a lightning fast speed. Fully outstretched, or if it were drawn up to full height, you would imagine this thing to be somewhere in the 6-foot range, probably, or very nearly just about 2 meters in height. And it is positively festooned with bits of equipment as it engages Romanov. The turn now goes to you, because you are in combat.
Whose turn is it now?
The turn is presently yours. Romanov, if you are presently prone and technically
in a grapple.
Yeah. Well,
so I want to break the grapple, and I want to try to avoid injury. So.
Okay. So I think that
security.
In order to break from the grapple, I think that would actually require fitness plus security. And I do think that because you are prone, this comes at an increased. So this would normally be difficulty 2, fitness and security. I think that by being prone, that would increase the difficulty to 3.
Okay, I'm going to spend a momentum on this, guys, because I can't take another hit. Otherwise, I'm going to have...
we are at full momentum, and we still had to float in as well.
You do?
Okay, so let me adjust that. So we need to draw how many?
4.
4 added to what we have. Okay, so we're at 6.
And there are 2 more that are floating right now.
I'll spend those 2 right now. I got to get out of this.
Plus 1 more to make it 2 dice.
Okay.
Right. I've noticed
I'm rolling a total of 4, correct? Or 3.
Yeah, and that will take us down to 5.
Yep, that would... So, you, by expending 3
I think it's worth spending 3.
Okay, so I have 4 dice I'm rolling, and I do get my focus, and let me go ahead and roll that.
Nice.
Okay, so that is, yeah, that will be 5 successes on the board. Romanov, while the initial hits here were enough to stagger you and allow it the pin, you manage to move your arm into such an advantageous position as to break its grip and then kind of force it like just to let go and give you the chance to use kind of the evasive capability to roll away. You are still technically considered prone. You could minor action to stand up, but you are now no longer in the grips of this thing.
I'm going to hold on my minor action. Actually, I'm going to use it to move. I want to get out of this thing's range. But I'm going to stick close to the dock because I don't want him getting hit because he's the one who can help us out.
Did we get any momentum off that roll?
Yes, you did get 3 points back, so that'll fill you up and give you 1 more floating momentum.
Okay, in that case...
So I'm adding 3 to the 5 or just 2?
You are gaining 1 point of momentum to the pool. You draw 1 momentum, and then you get there's basically 1 surplus, 1 that is floating out right now.
Okay. I think we should spend to keep the initiative.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. So you can drop 2 points of momentum in order to let's see.
Spend one of the floaties and
Yep.
one off the top. Take us back down to 5.
Yep, that will allow you to pass the action order to another ally instead of the enemy.
I think I'd like to have a go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You
Okay.
need to... Presumably you're dropping the guy you picked up.
Yeah, so seeing this creature leap out and attack Romanov, I'm dropping our friendly Tellarite and spinning around and using my, what's it called, phase pistol to try and stun this guy at close range.
Copy that. So that is going to be a control plus security roll with a difficulty of 2.
2. I will take the aim minor action.
Okay.
I will then give you a point of threat for an extra dice.
Okay.
And of course the because I've got aim Deadeye Marksman with the aim minor action, it reduces the difficulty by 1.
Okay, so difficulty 1, control plus security.
Control plus security, and of course focus handheld particle weapons.
You roll 3 successes, which is enough to very easily hit this man with a near point blank blast from your phase pistol set to stun. Go ahead and roll damage as you drop the Tellarite, unholster. Well, rather your weapon's already unholstered. Take aim and just plant a steady shot right in the center of mass.
Well, that is juicy.
Oh yeah, that's nice there. So let's see. Let me look back over what I had here.
Oh yeah.
We'll resist.
Nice.
3 points there. That won't be enough to stop the stun, but I'm going to use the momentum I had out there. Because I had one that I had dropped from the pool when it looked like Romanov was going to backtrack on that release. I'm just going to use that because vertical bracing is going to come into play. The phaser blast, or the phase pistol blast, flies out, searing the air with the yellowish-orange beam connecting straight against it. It staggers it back a couple steps. The light illuminates it more and gives you the impression of something just positively fearsome, definitely some sort of felinoid life form, or very much I guess your nearest analog, or the nearest one we've established, would be something like a Yugi, Romanov, or well, Shira, but
A Yugi on the Nightmares, I think.
yes. For a more human figure, it resembles something closer to the great cats of old Earth, and possibly a few analogs from other colony worlds. In this case, closest to a panther. It's furred with a deep and dark-colored sheen, save for the illumination from utility elements on its belt. What appears to be possibly white streaks in parts of its fur around the face, possibly even a face paint of some sort, and the sheen of something metallic running through what appears to be its nostrils. It takes a couple steps back after that, what is a very staggering blow, Shira, but it stops where it is, seeming to grit through the pain, and then drawing the corners of its mouth up into a Cheshire-like smile.
Back off or you'll get another.
It blinks for a moment and then presses a few buttons on on what appears to be a device mounted on the like on its utility kit. It seems to beat for a few moments, and it starts to rumble low, which within mere moments takes on the rumbling takes on a meaning you can understand. You won't be so lucky with. I don't know whether you and your ilk can take this. And a second of them has rounded the corner with what appears to be with what appears to be a two-handed weapon of some sort, held in such a way as it is too bulky to be mounted as to be held and steadied as a rifle. It looks to be a large and cumbersome weapon, but it starts to glow a fearsome green. As for the next turn, this creature is going to take a shot. Oh, and actually, I have to pay escalation cost for this.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So escalation is now on the board as it opens fire with with what appears, basically, for lack of a better phrase, appears to be some sort of chain gun style weapon, but with plasma.
Now you were paying a threat because you gained threat.
I needed to escalate this, is the reason.
This is definitely an escalation.
Yep.
Did you spend or did you gain from it?
I spend threat to pay an escalation cost.
And you spent for the value of the weapon, which was about 2. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay, just interested in your
rationale there.
Yeah.
I will admit I have at times been very fuzzy on the nature of escalation, but I figured that in the absence of in the absence of you electing to pick an escalation option, which would have meant bringing the phase rifles alongside, I figured it made the most sense to just let the rather pay a threat cost myself and make things that much easier on you. But yeah, this second fearsome stalking creature will just open up. Most curiously, Shira, despite you having been the one to plant the strongest blow, you are not the focus of the first blast. Instead, it aims to just cut up the Tellarite, and let's see. Oh dear, that is only a single success. I'm double checking my. Well, I think that the rounds are actually just going to go high in this case because I don't have a way to fix that. Uh, but yes, horrific like spread of green like energy bolts flies around the room, like down the corridor. Shira, it is by some miracle that you, the Tellarite, and Dr. Lambeth are not caught in the spray. I'll even give you the opportunity to say move behind cover if you so wish.
Yep, just duck in behind.
Yep. So,
I'm not sure if there's a good spot for cover where I am.
well, you could always, because he's
Right.
like through the threshold, you could move like either to the left or the right, basically, and dive out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's now the Doc's turn because he's
Yes.
run, get help.
Yeah. Is the Tellarite? Can I kind of grab the Tellarite and run with him to the back?
You know, I'll give you the chance to say, did you go left or right? Because Shira and the Tellarite moved to the starboard side, basically.
I think.
You were closer to port, so I I threw you in that direction.
Yeah,
but I'm perfectly willing
I'll
to say
go. I'd probably go port. Yeah.
Yep.
So in which case he's not going to be able to grab the Tellarite and get out of there. His hand's probably still in his pocket with the sedatives. So, he probably grabbed a hold of one for the Tellarite, so he could try and jab one of the Kazin with that, or one of the creatures with that. I don't know what rules we've got for sedatives doing stuff.
There's always the off-button hyper spray, you know.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
If you get close enough to one, you could administer it.
Oh god. Okay.
Right
Yeah,
up
let's no. He can fight. He should be able to fight. Actually, yes. Let's let him fight. I'm going to run up and try and hyperspray.
Oh man, that's interesting.
Or sedative them.
I
guess the nearest injured one, and he'll yell like, "Get out of here!" The shuttle's back that way to the Tellarite.
Copy that.
Spend momentum. Plenty of momentum.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we did have one floating from my
I
thing.
never thought the strategy to when a minigun pops out is to charge it.
Well,
I'm not
be fair,
charging him. I'm charging the other guy.
Yep.
The closer you're to danger, the further you're from harm. It's the least.
I'm trusting that Shira can take out the guy with the minigun.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I got a pistol, and he's got what appears to be a minor ordnance. There.
Like, I mean, I guess I can actually, when he comes under fire, dive and roll forwards into him, into the guy at the back.
No, go for the melee guy. It's the most logical choice.
Danny is quite daring, but I think that he's clever enough to know that when it comes to the big guy in the street brawl, you let him. You let them do the dumb thing. Never interrupt your opponent making a mistake. Or being clumsy. Fight smarter, not harder, basically.
Yeah. So, what do I need to do to try and sedate this guy?
So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a daring and medicine roll, and I am going to rule that it is contested against your opponent's daring and security.
Okay, can I get a hand-to-hand combat focus?
I will allow that.
Excellent. And we've still got one momentum floating. Is that right? So shall I burn
that and then burn 2 more.
Use 3 to get 2 more dice?
Yeah.
Yep. So go down to 4 momentum.
I am going to spend a point of threat to apply, and as if I'm not tipping my hand already here, the scream and leap talent is going to come into play here in a moment. Oh no,
Oh,
but
yes.
he does
Phew.
bad. Um,
In typical fashion of his race.
Yep.
Time for a cat nap.
so, God damn it. It's a bad pun, but it's well timed, so I can't rule against it. Yeah, Danny, with 4 successes, you beat the 1 success there as it just laughs. It laughs as all of you dodge, and gesturing in your direction, Shira. It's not so brave now, are you? And as you do that, he tries to block you, Danny, as you manage to snake in with the hyperspray. Indeed, he has a wicked set of claws that it looks like he's about to bring down on your helmet, but you manage to go in for the hypo. I'm going to say for this, roll me. Let's see. I'm going to give you. I'm going to make this kind of broken here. Let's call this 3 plus your medical discipline on the roll that in your challenge dice, and whatever we get there, we will give intense and debilitating for the effects and qualities.
Okay, if you want, like, because he was sticking his hand into a pocket with sedatives in, like, I think it makes sense if it's being this powerful, he just grabs like a handful and administers multiple doses to this guy because he doesn't know how tough he is.
Yep, maybe
Maybe
like you have 2 or 3 hypos in your hand and like you depress all of them as you administer it.
Yeah.
He leaped at you as you were grabbing the hypospray. You end up grabbing a whole bunch as you just like, nope, don't have time.
Okay, now for the complication, I'm prepared to make this a narrative complication and give you a let's see.
Spend momentum and re-roll those zeros.
Yeah. Okay, so that would take us down to 3.
He rolled once, so we gain.
Or do
3
I get bonus
back
momentum for
from-
my attack?
Yeah,
Well, let's see. Yes, you do gain. You did gain 3 points of momentum for your relative success over that.
Yeah,
actually,
so
let me-
that's.
We're
We're still back up
4,
to 6
so
with 1 3.
Yeah,
And so I'll spend that 1 3 to re-roll all of the zeros.
Yes, you
Is
could.
that how it works? It's any number.
It's just a single momentum to re-roll as much in the damage dice pool as you wish.
Alright.
Oh, well, it should have been.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to push.
It says rolling 4 dice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good old.
Try
good old,
it one
roll
more
20
time
there.
It's roll 20
Yeah.
is prone to that particular type of glitch.
Hey, much better.
So let's see. That is oh dear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or wait, no. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 6, 7, 8, 9. With 5 of those being
5
effects. So that's
Oof.
that makes it much more difficult for them to resist the injury. I think I'm going to, with the sheer amount of hypos that you are administering to this person, those sedatives are going to do very quick work on this entity, and you are going to find it like knocked backwards or like suddenly going very woozy as it tries to like bring its arm down to lunge at you. There is a complication on the board, and I was prepared to give you guys the complication fell on the hostile NPC, so I will let you take that basically as an advantage. And like we can open it up to the group if you don't have any immediate ideas. But what would you like to do with this?
Maybe he's he's fallen unconscious. He stumbles back into his friend, and
yeah, I was.
And maybe that.
Yeah, that works. I was going to go with like I can hold him and use his body as a shield, but
I gotcha. Like some of the stray plasma blasts cut into this, and if this were a melee weapon, there'd be like the blood squibs going off, like a solid 90s action movie or 80s action movie. Really, anything that Paul Verhoeven did.
You just say it's nap time, kitty.
The entity will just like say, lame, and then go unconscious.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the turn order. Let's see. Oh, the Tellarite is the one person who hasn't done anything yet, so they're just going to book it.
Bye.
Yep, they're running away back towards the end of the ship. The only standing one is going to say, or rather, just look to the bunch of you and say, frustrating prey. More for later. And with that, I think that, let's see, he is just going to, he's just going to pull something off of his harness, depress a button, and drop that right very near where you are. I think that, yeah. Okay, escalation cost is technically already paid for that one, so just call this daring and security. And for our purposes, he's throwing it at his compatriot. So right in front of you, Danny.
Okay.
And let's see. Yep, 3 successes, so that is going to land there, and he's just going to move like immediately back through the threshold. Shira, I'm sure you can guess as to what he just did.
He's dropped something explodey at our feet.
Yep.
Run for it.
Okay. Everybody give me a fitness and security. I'm going to call this difficulty. I'll give you everybody a difficulty 3 roll.
I'm not going to be able to drag the body with me, am I?
Nope.
Would we be able to kick the grenade away?
It's just a little out of range for that, and you are the only one
Yeah,
well
alright.
positioned.
Then it's just run.
Okay, fitness,
So,
security.
Fitness security.
Okay. I'll do the old give you a point
Bold.
of threat for an extra dice. I guess none of my focuses apply in this one. It's
Yeah,
literally just running, isn't it?
Probably not. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I might want to spend momentum to get an extra die because I've only got a 10 in fitness and security.
Yeah. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Do that.
Can you re-roll anything?
You could call on determination here if you have a relevant value. Also, Romanov, you do get to roll 2, and your Sussman focus would apply here.
I think always have an escape plan could work, or all life is precious, but especially your own.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
It's, I guess, yeah, all life is precious, but especially your own. It's like, okay, actually, leave this guy behind.
Yep. You want to roll
Oh man, the noble sacrifice of this cat creature just falling on his buddy's grenade.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, he pushes the body in the direction of the grenade and runs.
So, Danny, you can go ahead and re-roll those 2.
Right. So.
Oh my God! No. Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
So, let me make sure that this is up to date for everyone in the stream here. We had, starting with Lambeth, 1 success. Shira had 4 successes. Lambeth elected to use a determination to re-roll and got no successes and a complication. Romanov has rolled 2 successes and a complication. You still have, let's see. So all of you took a momentum to spend there, and I'm just going back to make sure I have momentum straight on this.
I was also going to spend a momentum. I had my mic on mute. I was spending a determination, always have an exit strategy.
Oh.
I thought you had heard it. I had it on mute.
I did not hear that. Okay, so Romanov, you may re-roll your 2 d20s, or at the very least that complication there. And let's see. I'm trying to remember. At the start of those rolls, were we topped off on momentum?
Yes, and then
so that would
I spent 1 from my roll.
Yep. So I think that
that took us down to 4.
Yep. Well, you. Oh wait, right. Shira spent with threat. That's right. So
yes.
Then momentum is where it should be. Romanov and Shira actually both earned back a point of momentum, so I will allow you to take that up to 6. And yeah, Romanov, your reroll with that did allow you to succeed. Lambeth, you have a complication on the board now with only 1 success, so you are not getting as far as you wanted. Let's resolve this in order first. You have a complication on the board. There is also, however, plenty of momentum. Would you prefer to buy off the complication, to give the GM 2 threat to buy off the complication, or would you prefer to take a narrative complication?
I'm highly tempted by narrative complication because I think it'd just be fun.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll happily just take a narrative complication.
Okay. Then the second
Please
question...
screw me over badly.
I was actually going to ask the second question. Did you want to succeed at cost? Because that is an option. It does mean, however, taking on some additional complication.
Do I have any idea what the effect, like, as a player, what the effect of this is going to be? Like, if it's going to kill Dr. Lambeth if he fails this check, I would very much like him to succeed at cost.
Well,
if it's just going to be an injury.
I do think that grenades are a pretty lethal affair, so that would deal a lethal injury. However, you do have the momentum to resist that and even stabilize yourself, presuming you don't let someone else do it.
I do have first aid, which...
Yeah. Shira could definitely play combat medic for you if it came to
I was a combat medic.
Yeah, but this is not an auto-death situation. I guess the only chance of that would be if I were to completely max out your stress track, and with 1 success, I'm going to give you just... The way I'm thinking about it is that, Doctor, you would try to move back with this, the stunned or sedated being in your hands, and then you realize that's not going to work, so you would try to shove him in the direction of the grenade. I think that's the most consistent thing with the value that you're using in this case.
And how badly it fucked me over.
Yep.
I love that.
So that would maybe give you like a cover die to help justify that success, or like it would give you a bonus point of resistance on top of what your EV suit is already giving you.
Yeah, I think I'll just let myself fail. Let's fail and have a narrative complication and see how bad things get.
Okay. So, the first grenade goes off.
Hang on, I don't like the way you said first.
Took notice of that, did you?
Just a little bit.
Yep. So for 5 points of damage, there's going to be a definite blast wave that knocks you, and for that matter, the sedated, and in this case, since they'd already taken the stress, that is enough to kill them, so I drop a point of threat there. Really, I should be dropping 2 since this is intended as a lethal injury. The explosives on that entity's suit goes off as well, which is
Ooh.
going to make them even more of a going to make things even more of a problem. Danny, I think for your purposes, you take 3 of those points of stress because the being had absorbed some of the blast, and your suit also
Okay.
shielded you.
Some of the first blast.
Yep, no injury from that for you, but those grenades go off, rather the explosives on the now corpse's belt, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6 points. That is only going to be resisted by the suit this time, so that is enough to do a lethal injury, which will like quite significantly hurt you as the its vest goes off. You are caught in a bit of a the wave of heat, and bits of deck plating that get kicked up. Shrapnel has now lodged some wounds into your side and on your arms, meaning you've sustained quite a bad injury, and your suit is also now compromised. So I think that's kind of the complication has created those problems. It managed to knock the deceased down. It managed to knock the deceased one closer to you, and the secondary explosion there has dealt you an injury that will kill you if you are not stabilized. It has also compromised your environmental suit, so
Cool.
any radiation hazards or anything here will be worse for you now. But the immediate problem is Lambeth
And
needs
there was a spike.
sorry, the audio went a little weird there. Could you repeat, please?
Sorry, there was even more radiation in the room that the doors just opened to, as well, wasn't there?
There is a little bit of radiation coming out. It's not your biggest concern right now, and we can resolve what's going on with that in a moment. But the immediate problem is definitely you're bleeding out. So.
Oh yeah, the radiation is problem number 5 on my list of problems.
Yep. I would say too that you could spend momentum to ignore the injury here, but I believe that it would normally cost 2. Because the grenades have the intense quality, it would take an additional 2 momentum on top of that to ignore the injury. So.
Okay, and what effect does the injury have? That's what's killing me. Do I need to write what do I write down for in the injuries column?
We're going to call the injury. Really, a few things would account for this. The biggest thing would be it'd be a combination of burns, shrapnel, and I think it's not compression syndrome, or it might be, but the effect of basically taking a blast wave of highly pressurized air to
concussive, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Cool. So as the dust clears, what do Euler and Alaska see?
What have I taken in the way of stress? Because I took 3 from the first one.
That would be.
Do I also take stress in addition to the injury?
You do take additional stress. That is 5 points from the second one and 3 points from the first one.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's up to 8. So I've got 5 spots remaining.
So Shira, Romanov, as you turn back around, you see that the deck is now heavily scored. Probably even there's probably exposed bits of the grav plating and other power systems below from where the explosions went off. The corpse, what would have been a corpse now of that other life form, is just completely caked everywhere such that anything wasn't vaporized in the explosion. Lots of singeing and carbon scoring, and at a distance down the hall, probably honestly nearer to you, Romanov, if you rolled over to port, Lambeth has been sent back against the wall, clutching at his side. Parts of his suit, like controls on the arms, and a lot of the texture there show pretty significant signs of burning. I'd say the helmet's probably a little cracked. Lambeth is kind of back and in a daze. And he's just used all of his anesthetic.
Oh, is this guy still,
There's that complication.
Is this guy still up?
No.
He's
splattered.
Yeah.
splattered. So we have we're out of combat at the moment, right?
Yes. So the one that tried to spray and pray basically dropped a grenade by his buddy and ran away.
Okay.
Both of you were able to sprint basically down the opposite halls and evade most of it. You probably still got knocked back a little from just the explosive wave in a confined space. That might have sent you stumbling a bit, but you managed to make sufficient distance to where you only got that, or you weren't actually injured.
Okay.
4 successes definitely gets you around the corner.
I'm not really much of a medic, so I can tell that Doctor... Is there anything I can do to immediately help him?
I think you want to leave that to Shira.
I probably want to leave that to Shira, because she's the one who's...
We've all entered a black...
Sorry. Everything's going dark, Danny. It's so cold. I'm sorry. I'm trying to reveal the area a little bit more, and I wound up cloaking it.
Okay.
Thankfully, it shouldn't look that way for those of you on stream, except for that little sliver that I need to fix. Sorry, everybody. Okay, yeah. So, Shira,
I'm going to start coming back. I guess I can't really see the situation with Danny other than he got knocked down. I'll take a quick peek in here just to make sure Cat Guy has disappeared.
No signs of them anywhere.
Okay. Okay, and I'll
cover while you go take care of Dr. Lambert. I'll position myself so I'll just keep a scan up and keep my phaser up.
Get up, contact the rest of the away team.
I will. I'll open up a contact now and go, this is engineering team. We just came under fire from...
Let's call them a feline type race.
Yeah, feline type alien race.
Yep.
On all frequencies.
Did we feel the shake from the grenade?
Yep. As you were thinking of going back towards the ship after you had that bit of a chill, you felt the jostling of the ship below you. Something localized, and your auditory receivers and the suit helmets would have picked up the low thud of something.
And then now my communicator's chirping.
Yep.
I just look to Saral with concern on my face, terror, barely concealed terror, and flip up my communicator, or I guess touch the little button on my suit.
This is Romanov. We just came under attack from feline aliens. We're down in engineering. That was a grenade. They're aggressive. My position, 10 to 15 meters directly ahead towards blah, blah, blah direction.
The bow.
The bow.
The ship probably detected a detonation, right?
It would have, and Stewart is in the process of trying to explain that, but I think she gets a little flustered at the idea of reporting.
Yeah, she'll just say, understood, Crichton.
Bring through.
Away team.
Aegis to away team. Aegis to away team. Away team, please respond.
I hit the 3-way call button on my communicator.
Yep, you are now in conference call mode.
Captain, you're muted. No, I'm just kidding. What is the status of the away team of Team 2?
Status is we are under attack. Feline creatures with repeating weapons and grenades.
I meant medical status of the team.
Medical status. I'm injured, and so is Dr. Lambert, who is under medical attention right now from Shira.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Shira, go ahead and give me I believe it is, I would like to say that it is daring and medicine to administer first aid with a difficulty of 1.
You know what? Regulate his breathing. A phaser hit.
Hold on. I'm just reading up the one talent which I haven't used in this game so far.
Oh boy.
Combat Medic. Whenever the character first attempts the first aid task, they may spend 1 momentum to cause the recipient to regain points of stress equal to the number of the character's medicine discipline. A character may only regain stress in this way once per scene. So I assume it's my medicine discipline.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So my medicine is free, so I think that will be okay. So let's get this rolling, shall we?
So you're going to spend momentum to clear 3 stress for me?
Yes, I will. And then I will spend another point to give myself an extra dice. And I've got focus of first aid. So, and what's the difficulty?
The difficulty on this task is 1.
1. Right, okay, cool. Well, I could just spend those 2 mementa. I just earned just to remove that 0. Unless, of course, you fancy another complicate. Danny fancies another complication.
I think he's had his fill.
Okay, I'll spend those 2 momentum that I just earned to make that one go away.
And are we down to what, 2 momentum?
Yes.
Because you spent
I spent 1 giving you the free wounds back or stress back, and 1 to get extra dice.
Yes. So then, that should bring it down to 2 momentum. Shira, the anatomy is slightly different, but
no, wait, the human heart is on that side. Right. Okay, sorry.
No, left.
That's right. Your left or my left?
Your third lung can compensate for the other 2, right?
Yeah.
And are your antennae feeling okay?
No.
I like that Shira just goes to like the medical handbook that she read like 10 years ago, and she's like all Andorian.
Yep. To be fair, I could see Shira as much doing this to placate Danny, or like this being her style of bedside manner. It's maybe not the best to assure somebody, but it does distract him a little bit from the pain as you do what you can to stabilize the wound. The training that you had as pertains to human anatomy before you received this assignment, or I would say even something you took on electively as you recognized, it's just as likely you would be shooting people you'd be having to patch up the humans as you would be shooting whatever was harming them. So you managed to stabilize Danny pretty easily. I'm sure there's like some combination of device, a hypospray, sadly without anesthetic, but something like that. Anyway, I believe then was it you roll challenge dice to restore the health there, Craig, or does the combat medic skill let you just go for default?
I think the combat medic skill. Let me just quickly reread it again. I just spend 1 momentum and a regain points equal to my medicine discipline.
I see. So, yeah, Danny, I will allow you to restore those 3 points of stress there. Take that down.
Yep, I've done that.
Yep. So yeah, Danny, you are now no longer in danger of dying. However, you still feel the effects of the injury insofar as you are incapacitated. I actually don't think that you can take further actions as you are right now.
Okay. Is he still conscious?
Yes, in pain but conscious.
Right. We're going to have to get Danny back to the shuttle, but his suit seems to be compromised. Alaska, is there anything you can do to fix it?
Yeah. As Romanov hears this, we'll say that that's when you lock her into the conference call, and you did get a status update from Shira there, so you can answer Patel and Sharp.
Yes, I can help with the suit. Go ahead with questions.
Does anybody need to be transported?
Lambeth needs to get medical attention as fast as possible. And while I'm doing that, can I work on his suit just to make sure he doesn't have to deal with any radiation?
I think you might be able to put on like a daring and engineering thing. I'm actually going to say, Romanov, as you take a look at this, since you mentioned you had your scanner out as well as the phase pistol, you are seeing that there are increased signs of radiation emanating from the forward section of the deck. I'm even going to go so far as to give you are detecting some ruptured deck plating, suggesting that might be where the other thing went.
Okay, I'm going to call that to the bridge to make sure the other teams know that. Radiation increase forward of bow position from us. That's where the creatures may be.
She'll look over to Steward. Can you get the signals of Dr. Lambeth?
Here is my roll to fix his suit. 1 to fix his suit temporarily.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a chance to draw up difficulty on that. I'm going to say I don't think it's going to completely seal everything up.
I just want to give him breathing time.
Yeah. Well, there's still atmosphere at the very least. Anyway, just to flip us around, I will momentarily take us away from the whereabouts of the second team. Go over to the bridge, where Steward, as reviewing things, everybody at their stations is looking a little bit more concerned now. She says, I've isolated the away team's position. There's some very minor interference from radiation through the deck plating, but I think that we could probably get a transporter lock through that.
Get Dr. Lambeth from the ship to the med bay. Anyone else that is injured?
I've taken a little bit of injury as well.
All right, so to that, Romanov is also taken.
Yeah. To be clear, Romanov has taken some stress, but she does not have an injury per se.
Okay.
Then I'll just remain. Then scratch that. I'm good.
Okay.
I'll remain.
Patel, have you encountered any of these hostile threats?
No, it's been relatively quiet here, but we have noticed what could be some sort of damage that were caused by these creatures.
All right, head back to the shuttle. All of you.
I'm just gonna. Can I get on this call?
Yeah.
Shira is connected in now.
There was a Tellarite. We came across him just before these. We were jumped. He seemed to. Well, he might be able to know what's going on, but he ran off when the attack started happening.
She just looks over to Steward.
I'm having trouble. I'm making out a faint life sign. It might be on the same deck as them. It might be on deck 2 by now. I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble, Captain. The interference from the hull is making things really difficult.
All right. Priority is my own crew at the current moment. Patel, Get everyone back on the shuttle. We'll see about if we can nab the Tellarite through transporters.
Acknowledged.
Okay. So let's.
I managed to patch the doctor up, so you could probably just transport him to the transporter pad and have the medical team meet him there.
Acknowledged.
All right. So I'll give just
Make the dice roll slightly easier.
Yep. So I will allow. We'll just allow for there to be a like a difficulty 3 roll. I think that I'll just go ahead and have the transporter chief invoke their "Are you sure these are the right coordinates?" value and gain an automatic critical success. This is partly to give you guys the momentum. Let them roll. 3 successes, which would meet, plus another 2, so that will refill you to 6. If you want to see about any floating here, then you can spend.
I'll ask Transporter Chief of if he can nab the faint signals that Stewart is picking up. How if we can just scoop up, as it were, broad sweep.
I'll try, sir. You get from the transporter room.
Oh God! Don't.
I'm going to get Mako's onto near the transport room, ready, enabled.
Yep.
Yeah, because I can see the complication coming a mile off.
Yes. Now we have Danix.
Oh, that's also a good one. Yeah. I was thinking of instead of accidentally grabbing the Tellarite, you grab the cat person.
Yep. Yeah, that's she's well aware. That's why she's like, no, we're just gonna scoop everybody up, phase them all, talk about it later.
Yep. Okay, so Lambeth at least will be taken in by the bright sparkling effect of the annular confinement jacketing as the transporter breaks him down molecule by molecule and transports him through the data stream. He will disappear through the beam out. The two of you, Shira and Romanov, will start making your way back. We're actually, let's see, as you issue orders from the bridge captain, we're going to cut up to deck 2 for a moment. Where Patel, you, Saral, and Justice are still by the computer core when the captain orders you to just start making your way back. So before you do anything, is there any particular things that you would want to do on your way back, or anything you want to do while you are in the room?
I mean, did we have some amount of time between arriving at the computer core and being called back, or did events line up that we literally called back immediately?
Yeah, basically the moment that Patel uncovered the signs of uncovered the signs of something having clawed open the main computer core, there was a dull thud from down below and the obvious feel of an explosion from below deck, and that was when panicked call went off. You waited for a moment while you got the update, and Sharp gave the order for everyone to retreat.
I don't suppose there's something we can grab real quick.
There might be a small damaged bit of computer core if you want to, say, create an advantage here.
Can I can I with that knowledge, if you don't mind, Felix, so I have a value that might help out with that.
I mean, go ahead.
Are we talking as Chief Justice, or?
Yeah, as Chief Justice.
Oh, as Chief Justice, I was really getting confused.
Sorry.
Okay, Chief Injustice, let's go.
Yeah, Chief Injustice. He knows a retreat, but he also wants to like be helpful as much as possible, especially when it comes to scientists. So he's just going to like scoop up a bunch of like as people are looking, stepped in, and scoop up just a bunch of just random computer bits, and then just like halt with them. So I want to help out in terms of like maybe offering an advantage or something to the science team or for us to better understand what's going on. With my value of staying cool under pressure is easy.
Okay, I'll allow that. We will just use the application of make it so to allow you to rip out what you think might be some helpful equipment and help you to learn. With all that, would the three of you be making your way back down?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, as the three of you cross that distance, I'll go ahead and pull you guys down the corridor.
Also, at this point, I think I'm probably pulling out my sidearm.
Yep. And as you as you unholster your weapon at the very least, Patel, a figure shambles up the gangway from the deck below. Oh, stay back!
Easy, and I hold my hands out, and I have my like I don't know if there's like a word for it. That thing where you're still holding the gun, but like your fingers are very clearly not on the trigger.
Yeah.
So the other person can sort of see.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Gotta get off the ship. Gotta get me to the shuttle. Get us off. We gotta go now. The Kazinti.
Well, good news. We are.
Good. We need to go now. Kazinti are here. Some are here, and
You want to come with?
yes, I don't care. Just get me off. We worry about the rest later. Don't know if they made it to the engine room anyway.
Sounds like Justice already got off. And back again.
Oh,
All right,
Wait.
Well, then just come with us. It's fine. Calm down. We're heading to the shuttle right now. In fact, this guy here is our pilot.
He gestures to Justice. You fly me off and we go. We just leave this place.
We're doing just that. Come on.
All right. And with that, he will cautiously set aside the pipe and he won't drop it, but he will lower it and just start running back up the deck. And let's see. I still have a little bit of threat, but actually, you know what? I'm going to attempt something here. Let's see how they do. Okay. As you start walking your way up, there is the crackly sound of audio speakers actually playing. Hello. Is anyone out there? Survivors stuck. Engine room. Please. And I think that with the realization there are in fact still people on this ship, I will leave you to ponder a choice, and we will save that choice for next week. So, that is where we are going to end today's session. For everyone, I hope that hope you enjoyed today's episode, and yeah, thankfully everything moved a bit more smoothly. So if you want to catch us again, we will be running live next week, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. And yeah, thank you for stopping in. This is where we will leave you off. Yeah, take care now.